Hello, you brave crypto knots exploring the crypto universe. This is Grant and Brett coming at you again with another video. This time, because it's the season, Brett, we are going to cover taxes. It's something
Is the
that,
season, not the good season.
no, it's not like, presents and stuff.
Yeah,
Not that
no,
kind of
it's not.
season.
It's not the good season.
It's when the good uncle, the Uncle
Mhm.
Sam Meister comes and says, "How accurate were you in recording all of your trades? How do you know whether you had losses or gains? And which coins was that in?" Right? Like those are all the questions that you got to track in this world. And as probably you have either understood because you're involved, or if you haven't got involved, you surely will understand that it is a nightmare. It can be a nightmare to really track this stuff. So today, there's a lot of options out there in terms of how to go about tracking your profit and loss in crypto. We are going to highlight one called Taxbit. Now, Brett, we were just talking to the guys at Taxbit earlier this week, and I think it'd be really good for everybody to note that at the timing of this recording, we're going to give you the things that we like and some things that we wish it had. But know this, they're a software company, so they're only going to continue to get more and more robust. And we will highlight other options as well. But that is important to know. What we highlight today, if it's something that we wish it had, it might be there in a month or 6 months, right? I mean, they seem pretty friendly over the phone about, first of all, they loved us. Should we just get that out of the way?
Naturally, naturally.
They loved us, but they were also like, "Oh yeah, there's NFTs and DeFi, like roadmaps for days on the stuff that they would like to do." So that's an important thing to note. And I think the second piece to note before Brett, you take the controls and we go through a few things here. It is really important that people understand how the decision to track this stuff is either automated or manual. And that's where there's some functionality differences between a lot of different software providers out there. And of course, you can even do Excel spreadsheets, which we'll highlight on another video. But just know that that's kind of the decision matrix for you, is how automated or manual you want certain things. So, Brett, take it away.
And maybe to add to that piece too, I would also say that it depending on what you're doing will determine how automated or manual you're going to end up getting. And we'll highlight that a little bit with Taxbit because in my opinion, Taxbit is probably, if not the top one of the top ones that I've found. And I've looked at dozens of these to try and figure out how I was going to keep track of taxes this year, because I did so much more in DeFi this last year. And I did so much more on the crypto front in 2021 than I've done at any other point in time. And so it's like, crap, how am I going to track all this stuff? So I've been looking like all of last year to try and figure it out. And I personally actually pulled the trigger on Taxbit to use Taxbit. So for what it's worth, that's the one that I've decided to use. Now there's a hybrid model that I've had to go with because of that, between the automation and the manual process. But let me do a quick screen share and we will do a quick walkthrough of
Through all of
Taxbit.
your 15 plus investigations, the counselor therapist over here had to listen to the pros and cons list. And so that's why we will just
Yes.
disseminate our information and intelligence to you so that your navigation's maybe a little easier.
Yes. So from the Taxbit perspective, I mean, high level, you can go look at their website for more information as to like how they work and kind of what they're focused on and whatnot. But they are working with individuals and enterprise accounts. They've got an awesome team that, like Grant said, we've been able to talk to. We have a couple guys there that we know, and they're awesome people.
Yeah.
So from that perspective, we really like Taxbit. But let's go and dig into some of the nitty gritty. Like, let's actually get into Taxbit. So this is my personal, as of right now, Taxbit account. Now, I don't have everything in here because, like I said, some of it's automatic and some of it's manual. And I'm still going through the manual process and trying to figure out the best way to add some of these in. So as part of this, what I want to highlight is on this add transactions down here under the account, this is where you can actually go and set up the automatic piece. So you can connect to exchanges. So you can see here, I have Binance US connected, Gemini, Coinbase, Celsius, Uphold, FTX. And then you can see a couple of wallets that I have here that are connected. My Ethereum wallet through MetaMask, and then my BSC wallet, which is also through MetaMask. So those are all the ones that I currently have set up. Now you can click on add exchange and look here to see all of the other ones that are available. So they have a lot of exchanges. Taxbit is invested heavily, from what I can see, compared to everybody else on the exchange side of things, on actually connecting to all of these different exchanges and pulling it in, because they have a huge list on this front. So here is a list of exchanges you can go on and set up. And then they also have some new ones coming soon. Even like Super Rare and NFT marketplace. So
I like that they have a coming soon. They didn't tell us
pretty
that
cool
this week. I like that.
Yeah. So another one is, here's the ad wallet. So this is where, in my opinion, Taxbit is a little bit behind on some other ones that I've seen. So these are the only ones that they have access to. The MetaMask one, you'd think, oh, maybe it's anything that would be an ERC20 standard. So we're talking Phantom, Avalanche, Matic, or any of those. And that's not the case. Going into MetaMask, you can see here, the only thing in the dropdown is Ethereum. It's stubbed from what I can tell based on how they've set it up, that they'll be able to add some of these other ones in, but it's literally just Ethereum right now.
Are you saying that there's a drop-down menu with just one selection?
Yes. Yes, there totally is right now.
That is like, that's either a really cool design feature or like an Easter egg not seen in many places.
Yes.
Like that's a really cool stub. I actually will give them credit there.
It's
like
dangling a carrot for me. It's just like, here you go. You almost have it, but not quite yet.
Yeah, I like that.
Some of the other ones you can add here, BCH, Smart Chain. But like I said, most people that are doing DeFi related stuff are not on necessarily Ethereum unless you got in really early, and the gas fees don't kill you every time when they're, you're talking $100 every time you have to do anything or around there. Smart Chain is interesting, but it doesn't have all the DeFi stuff. So you can connect Binance Smart Chain, but right now it's not hooked up with DeFi. So you're not going to get any of your beefy things or Venus or Pancake Swap or anything like that. None of that is set up on the DeFi side with Smart Chain. It's literally just whatever is in your Smart Chain wallet, which that part I was a little bit disappointed with. But it is what it is.
And I think that's where I would just remind that at least in the conversation we had, DeFi is a really big focus on their roadmap. And I'm not saying that it's just in the Binance DeFi space, but I think DeFi in general, they have a lot of things that they're going to be rolling out soon.
Yeah. Yeah. And a lot of, from what I gathered from it, a lot of it was more focused even on the Ethereum side, still on the DeFi, which makes sense. There's a lot of money on the DeFi side and in Ethereum and all these other side chains. So they've got to pick and choose. It makes the most sense to go with Ethereum. I just hope that they can move really, really fast, selfishly, so that I can get some of these other ones.
Did you hear that, Taxbit? That's our selfish request.
I'm selfish. So if you are on Phantom or Avalanche or Binance Smart Chain using DeFi or NFT related stuff, that's going to be a very manual process for you to enter that in. So you're going to have to use this tab here, which is the add transaction. You're going to need to go look at your transaction history. When did you buy it? At what time? So that way you can keep track of your gains versus your losses and everything else, which obviously if you do a lot of volume, this is going to take a long time to do. Now they do have an option where you can import a CSV. This is the direction that I personally tried to go, is importing. So you can upload this generic CSV. A lot of chains will allow you to like export your transactions in some form or fashion, and then you can go and try and get it to match what they have here. I started going down this route and got stuck when I was trying to upload. It wouldn't actually take my transactions in. I was trying to do it for Matic so that I could have all my Matic transactions on here, because that's where the bulk of my money is right now. and it didn't end up taking. So I've got to figure out what's going on with that one and get those to load in. If
Would
not,
you
I'm going to have to go back this direction.
would you think so? Let's stay here for a second on both the add manually and the import from a CSV. I would guess that if you're going to use Taxbit to have a greater chance of probability of success on the import on the CSV side, that you would actually have these fields in your CSV file, the transaction type, like the fields that were on the add transaction on
Yeah.
that last piece. In at least in your CSV file, I would guess that would be helpful. Am I right? Or
Yeah. So there's actually an even easier way to do it than that. So if they have this nice handy little read the walkthrough on how to upload your CSV data. So they actually give you an Excel sheet that you can download and then basically take your transactions that you have and move them over onto this Excel sheet that matches up with their structure that they need and everything else. So it actually, they've made it even easier for you than having to go and look at like this manual transaction and like, okay, which pieces do I need and how do I set it up and all that stuff. So
kudos to them. That's good.
they've done well on that front to make it easier. So that's basically to get your transactions and things in. That's high level. That's what you're going to have to do. There's some of the limitations with it, what you can and can't automate. A couple other things that I want to highlight really quick that I've liked with Taxbit. So you can see here NFTs beta. So this is on Ethereum, but they're totally starting to pull in NFTs that I purchased on Ethereum. So
he likes to do this to brag about his world. Just so you know,
I know, right?
He always does this, brags about his world.
So this does only currently work with Ethereum from what I can tell and what I can see. But it does give me like how much I had to pay in fees. And then also in this situation, my mint price of 0.15 ETH. And then I can see how much I paid for this fusion and then the fee that was associated with that one as well. So that was pretty cool to see how they were pulling that type of stuff in, because these fees are obviously going to dock from the amount of taxes that you have to pay because you're paying out, right? So that part was pretty cool and interesting to see. Another side thing on the taxes side, they have it split up pretty well to make it easy to get the tax information. So you can go and swap years depending on the pricing or the level that you're at. So I've got the second to the highest level right now. So I can go back in history and get all my tax information from prior years and whatnot. And it will give you the short-term gains, long-term gains, and then the total income. This total income piece is basically what you would use from, like, if you're on Celsius, for example, you get paid every month a certain percentage. That goes into the total income. If you're on BlockFi or Gemini earning interest on like a stable coin, for example, that's going to show up as a total income, just so that you're aware. From what I can tell, that's kind of how they're differentiating the total income from the short-term gains and losses. So
very good, man. I see. This is where, again, automation versus manual exists, I think, in every option available that focuses on crypto, right? Like there is some sort, there's not a solution currently from a tax perspective that gives you everything automated where you're able to pull in from all your wallets into one place, or NFTs or all your DeFi stuff in one place. And how could there be? Honestly, like there isn't a solution out there that is so robust. That being said, I believe based on, the investment into this space with the tax software solutions, that it's not too far off where you're going to get the vast majority of the crypto world into one space. Now, it might not get the new projects that are happening, right? It is going to be based on supply and demand.
yeah,
But Taxbit is a phenomenal resource. Phenomenal resource. We would recommend it to anybody that is in need of a tax resource. And I mean, at the end of the day, again, this is in hopes of just being accurate in documenting your gains and losses in a reportable way, because at some point in time, likely when there's an audit, you're going to have to just show. And what do we say? If you can't show, you don't
know.
Right. Yes. So there you go. That's our 2 bits. Hey, that's our 2 bits on Taxbit. That's a little jingle. Hey, they can they can tell us they liked it later. Anything else, Brett? I think it's
Nope. I think high level, that pretty much covers everything that I found and the things that I like about Taxbit. So,
all right. Cryptonauts, you brave explorers in this universe. Until next time.